Okay, Harold, I'm happy to meet you today at our meetup dedicated to informal leadership in product teams. Before we start, I just want to invite you to join our BA community in Telegram or to join our analyst hub at LinkedIn. Please use these short links to join our community or our analyst hub, and we will start soon. Okay. First of all, those of you who see me first time, I'm an ex-B2B product manager. I have launched more than 15 products from scratch and unfortunately killed some of them. I also have some startup experience and I, in general, experienced in launching products from idea to working MVP with further growth of the product. Talking about, let's say, the introduction of this meetup, so we will be talking about informal leadership, and in general, an informal leader, it's a person who influences people without formal authority, who helps the company to shape the team culture through their own behavior, and is followed by other teammates without any, let's say, push from their side. And usually, informal leader plays a crucial role within product teams where roles are fluid and the speed is very important for delivery. Talking about today's agenda, it will split into two parts. One of them will be dedicated team development models, just for you to get familiar with some of them or to revise them. And another part will be dedicated to informal leadership and what kind of skills and personal, let's say, qualities you need to possess just to become an informal leader. So let's just start from Bruce Tuxman's team development model overview. As you know, it consists of 5 stages. The last journey stage was added after its initial introduction, and we have 5 stages of the team development. It is forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So when we're talking about the forming stage, usually at this stage, team members are very polite. They are very excited about what is happening. They are trying to understand goals and roles within the team. They usually try to avoid any kind of conflicts within the team, and they are expecting for some leader just to get the proper direction for the team. Here, you as a leader at this stage, you need to establish in general clear vision for the team, especially for the product what you will be developing. You also need to define roles for each team member so they can fully understand what they should be doing. You can also facilitate introduction of teammates and just start working on the form of the team and establish some rules to guide the team. At the storming phase, usually people start having some interpersonal conflicts. Some of them may start to compete against each other. They may experience some sort of frustration. There may be some disagreements with roles or processes happening within the team. And anyway, all of these challenges are vital for the team involvement. So anyway, you will have to pass through the stage usually. And as a leader, what you need to do, first of all, it is mediation of conflicts, helping the team with defining goals and objectives for the team, helping the team with conflict resolution, explaining how to resolve them, and of course, helping the team with guidance and coaching if needed. And then comes the normal stage, and here usually there is some good level of collaboration between teammates, and you as a leader, you need just to continue helping them with facilitation of this collaboration, helping them find the right interaction and communication channels, provide additional feedback on the processes happening and on the individual input and contribution from each member. And of course, you need to develop great autonomy within the team so it can act like an independent unit within the company. Talking about the performance stage, usually everything is quite fine at this stage because people are motivated, they are fully autonomous. Usually here we're talking about, let's say, some sort of the cross-functional team which operates independently within the company and can address any of the problems that are happening. And they and your team mates at this moment, they are collaborating effectively with all team members within your team, and they also collaborate effectively with other teams if there are any interactions like this. And what you need to do here, like a leader, so first of all, don't forget to delegate tasks, because you as a leader, you cannot address all everything. You cannot be in all the places to be on all the calls, so you need to be able to delegate, and delegation should be one of the critical directions for involvement for your team. Also, try to support the growth of your team, try to challenge them, try to find opportunities, and don't forget to celebrate team successes, and anyway, maintains overall vision for the products that you're developing and the roles of the team within its development. There is also another model like 5 dysfunctions of a team from Patrick Lencioni. So it has 5 layers: absence of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and inattention to results. So you as a leader here, when we have this layer of absence of trust, usually teammates or your colleagues, they don't want to look vulnerable with one another. They do not want to admit mistakes. They do not want to look like they have some weaknesses or they're asking for help. And here you just need to explain to the team that it is okay, that everybody makes mistakes, everybody may have weaknesses. We're here to grow and evolve the team. Also, you need to develop a safe environment for all team members so they can feel like you're a family and they can bring any topics without any fear or judgment. And don't forget to introduce the team building sessions or exercises just to grow the team. Also, at the layer of fear of conflict, we have a situation when people, let's say, they are not able to run constructive conflicts. They usually have some sort of destructive conflicts when they're arguing, when they're shouting at each other. So we just want to avoid the situation. And what you need to do, first of all, you need to foster the atmosphere of healthy debate during meetings. So try to establish some rules of conduct or of engagement or interaction during this during meetings, so everybody understands what is considered like good communication, what is considered like not acceptable communication. And don't forget that the constructive conflict helps the team to find the best solution and to find the best decision. And that's why your team should be able to use these techniques for proper working on the product. There is also a problem of lack of commitment, which may happen. For example, sometimes team may not share the same values or may not share the same goals or objectives, which the team is exposed to share. In this case, it looks more like a problem of commitment. And what you need to do, first of all, you need to ensure that all the decisions are clear to everyone, that everybody understands why the company and the team specifically is working on this or that thing. Also, don't forget to use some sort of cascading communication. So if you're making some decision, it is communicated clearly to all stakeholders, so everybody is involved and understands why you made this decision. And don't forget to work with the team that they understand that the decisions that you are making and the team accepts. Everybody should respect this decision, and you expect commitment from their side that they are ready to work towards this goal. Commitment. Avoidance of accountability usually happens when there is this lack of commitment and people hesitate to bring some problems to the table when they see some problems within the work of the, let's say, colleagues, but they don't, let's say, they are a bit afraid to bring these problems to everybody's attention and they just keep silent. So it's not really good. And what you need to do here, first of all, don't forget to establish some clear standards of performance and behavior. Also, you need to nurture the culture where team members understand that the team is accountable, not individual, and you as a team are working like a single organism, working on this or that product or some component. And also, don't forget to use some sort of dashboards or regular syncs to track the progress and see how the team is progressing within this area. And in attention to results usually happens when individuals focus more on their own personal wills and desires rather than on the what the team really needs. For example, it can be some career development, some ego of the person who is working, or when the person wants to feel appreciated, or something like this. So within this area, you need to focus the team on shared goals and metrics that you're working towards. And first of all, don't forget that it's very good to have some sort of rewards and recognition when the team achieves results. And also, you need to inspire your team on the results that you're achieving, but explaining that the team can grow further and achieve much greater results in the long run. There is also team effectiveness model from Richard Hackman. So there are 5 components. A real team, when team is considered like a subset of people working together, they have this interdependence. And the team is considers like everybody is accountable for achieving results, and everybody is participating in collaboration, helping everybody to achieve these results. There's also compelling direction when the team understands clearly the goal and they understand the purpose of their work on direction. There is also enabling structure. So it means that all the people within the team, they have the mix of different skills, knowledge, and different points of views. So technically, we're talking again this cross-functional team, which has all the necessary people to get the work done. And also, there should be supportive context when the company and the team has all the necessary resources, information, and support from the organization, so they can deliver without any great impediments or blockers what is expected from them. And there is also expert coaching, so there is somebody who can help the team to navigate these challenges, to bypass any blockers, and resolve any performance issues which may arise. And the last model here for you just to consider is GRPI model from Richard Beckhardt. So it is built on goals, roles, processes, and interpersonal relationships. I will not be explaining it in great detail. So the team should have goals, there should be established roles, there should be established processes, and interpersonal relationships should be based on the trust, respect, and quality of collaboration so the team can deliver great results. So proceeding to the second part, to the informal leadership, here we will be talking about different techniques and approaches that you can pick like a potential leader and what you can do within the product company. So in general, who is informal lead? First of all, it is not a team lead, it is not a manager or CTO. That's usually a person who everybody comes to for a piece of advice. Everybody who is not chosen for this, but who is doing this. Usually, this person helps the team to shape the team culture through their own behavior. So, and that's the person who earns this power. So usually you do not get any additional, let's say, powers assigned to you or any additional management privileges that you receive. Usually you just earn it through your own work and through additional coordination and orchestration of the team. So talking about, let's say, specific qualities and characteristics that you need to possess. First of all, it is initiative and taking responsibility. You, as a leader, you should be able to introduce initiatives when you see that the company or the team needs them. And first of all, you should consider in general this continuous improvement process within the team, at least having some measurable results after introducing this or that initiative. And any initiative without execution is just a noise, just background noise, which will be waste of time. And as a true leader, you should be ready for execution. And in this case, initiative with high level of execution can help the team to implement new things, to do a lot of different experiments in general. For example, if we're talking about the team development, it will be within experimentation of different processes, different approaches to work, and optimization. And without responsibility, initiatives are a waste of time. But if you combine initiative and responsibility, you can deliver great results as a team. Also, we need to remember about proactivity in leadership. So, a person who wants to be a leader, he should see things before their occurrences. If you see that some process is not ideal and you want to change it, or you want to introduce a new process, you're welcome. And in these situations, you should be able, in general, to explain why you're introducing to, for example, to the upper management. But proactivity is one of the keys. And what you need to consider here is that different people have different mindsets. Some people have proactive, some people have reactive mindset. When we're talking about a reactive mindset, we are waiting for some problem before it is pointed out, and then we are resolving the problem once it is brought to us. With a proactive mindset, you identify potential issue and act in advance just to address this problem without its occurrence at all. The next is charisma. So any leader should have good level of charisma, which is usually a subset of other qualities like confidence, attentiveness, energy, persuasiveness, and authenticity. So when we're talking about confidence, so you should be able to confide people in what you're doing, to explain why you're doing, and they should be able to follow you. Attentiveness means that you pay a lot of attention to what people are saying, to what happens during the product development. You understand all of different factors that may happen, and you consider it for different decision making. Also, you need to be to radiate a lot of energy, because if you're a leader, you should be able to motivate the team, especially when the team experiences some problems or hasn't reached the goals which were set for the team. You should be able to influence and inspire people, and your behavior and your actions should be sincere and genuine without just wearing some mask or pretending somebody who you are not really are. As a leader, you should also have some healthy perfectionism. So in general, we all try to get everything perfect, to get everything done at the maximum level, but sometimes we need to consider healthy and toxic perfectionism. First of all, if we're talking about healthy perfectionism, you need to consider that when you set up the high quality bar, your teammates, they will be trying to reach this bar as well. So you will be increasing the level of quality of work within the team. Also, the team should consider how they can make it even better. And you, as a leader, will be helping them. We all understand that some perfect solution is not possible at once. So it will pass different iterations and improvements over time. So you should consider it as well. So we usually launch some MVP, and then we continue polishing it, refining, and just make it MLP, MMP, and so on and so forth. And when we're talking about, let's say, toxic perfectionism, usually it happens when the person makes this bar too much high or too high that nobody can even reach it. So when you are so passionate about rewriting the product from scratch that you, in general, reject any ideas coming from it, you reject any potential refactor, and you just want to rewrite it from scratch, and that's all. That's the only solution, which is not really productive. Also, you may introduce different endless revisions without shipping when you are imitating the progress without actual progress happening. That's why you consider different levels of perfectionism and focus more on the healthy grade of it. Attention to detail, it was also mentioned ago, but in general, while working on the product, you need to consider different aspects or different components of the product. First of all, it is code quality if you see that there are some problems, that some edge cases are not addressed, or whether error management is not working or working incorrectly, or whether there are some reliability or performance issues. You can raise it as a problem to the team and just request its addressing in the long run. You can also spot some different issues with the processes, and that's why you just try to facilitate and streamline them through developing some guides or guidelines for procedures, or developing some templates just to run meetings or processes smoothly. Also, while working on the product experience, you try to make it consistent. So if you show different errors for the same problem in different areas of the product, it's not really good. When the patterns overflows you're using, they are quite different, so it's not really very good. That's why you as a leader, you should be monitoring this and act consistently. Also, you should also be able to spot problems when your colleague needs your help, or when of your teammates will be on vacation or is on a sick day. So you need to reallocate resources and efforts just to cover some gaps or issues which are happening within the team. And you as a leader should foresee such issues and plan accordingly. And of course, about communication clarity. So when you see that tickets or work items you create in Jira, they are not properly described, so and it creates a lot of misunderstandings within the development. It's a potential area for improvement, and you as a leader should act accordingly. And the next point, it is sense of humor. You as a leader should have a good sense of humor. Some people will say it is not really needed, but from my point of view, it's one of the qualities without which it will be difficult for you to be a leader. First of all, sense of humor helps you to reduce the stress within the team. When you experience some problems, the deployment fails, or the release is delayed or something like this greatly decreases motivation within the team and creates additional frustration. With the humor, you can reduce this level of stress, and you can use jokes or some memes to create a strong sense of interconnection between people, so they will understand that they belong to a specific user group, they're sharing the same values, they're sharing the same sense of humor. Here you should be very careful with one thing, that don't forget about the sense of tact, that your jokes, your memes, they do not abuse other people. They do not create additional conflicts with the people, and jokes uh, are not really bad or touch some topics which you better not touch in general. Since the problems before the occurrence, that's another quality of leaders. So, as mentioned, there may be some performance issues which you may find spotted once. For example, there are some CPU spikes happening during some data export, and you ask developers to check why is this happening, because this may cause some additional problems. Also, there may be a problem with workload overcommitment. It's important for you to notice when your team commits to something when they will not be able to achieve within the allocated time, because it will result in missed deadlines and full burnout of your team in the long run if it will be continuous practice within your team. Also, interpersonal tension, which may happen. So sometimes you need to identify conflicts between people and intervene into these conflicts just to resolve them or help people to facilitate. You can also act like a mediator within this situation. And key skills which you need for this, of course, it is experience, observation, system thinking, curiosity, and pattern recognition, which will help you to spot problems before their actual occurrence. Owning your mistakes, in general, it's a quite tough thing because people don't like admit mistakes, and some leaders think that it's not really good when I admit my mistakes because looks like it's not really good usually from the point of view of people. And in this situation, I would say that it's in general really good to admit your mistakes because you create the culture of the safety and reliability. When people understand that even if a leader makes a mistake, why I can make a mistake. Of course, we need to exclude situations when the person is making the same mistake again and again. So we're talking about mistakes which are introduced only once, and you take some corrective actions within the team, and the team and your teammates no longer makes these mistakes. If they're making the same mistake, so this is not really good sign. So here you just need to make the root cause analysis of this issue, just to identify why this happens. Then diffusing tension in teams. So again, people sometimes they cannot work under long pressure, and they create this level of tension within them. And sometimes people do not really understand what you're developing and why you're developing. So it's very vital for the leader to show the situation from different angles. For example, when business executives see the product from their side and technical or engineering team sees the product from their side, it's very good to align their visions and explain what the business is trying to accomplish and what engineering and what challenges the engineering team experiences at the moment. So having these different points of views helps you as a leader. You can manage them and show different stakeholder groups what kind of problems each of them is trying to resolve and what kind of trade-offs they may need to take. Also, it's needed to understand that sometimes the team may be exposed to additional burnout when they are working on quite ambitious goals or objectives. And in this situation, sometimes you need to give them a pause so they can cool down and return again with some new ideas. It's usually needed when you are having some difficult architecture, when they need to make some difficult architecture decision, or when they do not have enough information. So in this situation, you take a pause, you collect more information, and then you can continue with a new brainstorming session. And it's very useful when the team cannot generate any new ideas. So in this case, this pause can give them more time for reflection. Also, you as a leader, you should be able to understand different, let's say, pressure under each role acts, like developers, designers, managers, and understanding each role and wearing their hat, you can better see their work and help them to resolve any issues or any challenges that they have. And again, redirecting focus. One thing here to consider that you should avoid blaming. So your teammates or your team should not blame somebody specific in let's say some negative results or in some failures, but they should stick more to the problem solving approach and plan some future actions how to resolve this or that situation in future if it happens again. Acting as a leader, you need to consider different personalities of your teammates because different people have different points of view, they have different characters, and you as a team leader need to consider all of them while communicating and collaborating them. Usually you can use different patterns so you can see how the person behaves in different situations, like on a meeting, under pressure, when he's excited about some idea, when he's working on something. Also, you need to check what level of feedback provision should be good enough for this person. Some people like direct feedback without any, let's say, polishing or refining. Some people like to receive it in a gentle and very kind-hearted manner, to be honest. In this case, you should be careful with it and understand, or maybe have some sort of agreement with this person, just understand what he really expects from you, so he will not be offended by what back you bring to them. Also, what you need to consider that not everybody is ready to be pushed. Not everybody is for overcommitment, and that's why you should find the most optimal way for the team to act as a single organism. And as a leader, don't forget that sometimes it's it's better to have some sort of the user manual for each teammate, for example, depending on the character. So when you work with people of the cleric um, type and with phlegmatic, that's two different groups of people, and the way of their working will be quite different. So you cannot require from phlegmatic to work like choleric and vice versa. They will have different kind of personalities. And while working with personalities of your teammates, you should consider that there are two ends in general. When we're talking about energy, some people need some focus time just to sit and work through the problem. Some people like collaboration and they deliver greater results through collaboration. The same thing with communication. Some people prefer written, some people prefer face-to-face. The same with decision making. Some people can trust your intuition. Some people are ready to support only data and data-driven approaches. The same with feedback and motivation. Not everybody is motivated by goals of your company. Some people want to receive some sort of recognition to see that they have impact. Some people want to earn money. That's why you need to consider all the levels of motivation. And stress response, again, different people perform differently under the stress, and you should be careful with it so you will not cause any issues or additional burnout within the person who goes silent or who tries to shout at you. As a leader, you should consider that people not all the time are ready for challenges. And you as a leader, if you want to grow your team and to foster them like professionals, you need to give them challenges, but you need to keep the balance between challenges, because if you give quite ambitious and massive challenge for some person, it may cause more problems than give real results. So in this situation, usually it's better to use this progressive scaling. You start with some small challenge and you gradually increase it over time, increasing the difficulty. Once this person masters all the necessary skills, and as a result, he is able to take new and more ambitious challenges over time. And again, don't forget that this person may need some additional support from your side, inspiration, encouragement, so he will feel secure while working on this as a challenge. And don't forget to celebrate achievements, because people will get this positive motivation that they've achieved what was a challenge for them, and now they are ready to move further. And there is one anti-pattern just for you to consider. So if you're trying to delegate something, what is really hard or boring from your point of view, other people will see it in the same way. So try to avoid such situation when you try to delegate all the boring things, and just try to develop this genuine challenge for your teammates so they will understand why they're doing and what kind of skills you're developing within that. Following through, again, without execution, nothing will work. And while working with initiatives, you shouldn't leave them partially done. There is also a common problem within product development when something is not working end-to-end. So there is some integration and it is not operating. So as a product leader, you should make your team focus on end-to-end operation of everything. If it is not working end-to-end, it does not deliver value. So you just spend time on something what does not bring any value, what does not allow you to earn money. That's why, what was the reason within this? Not much. Doing the dirty work as a leader, it's always a tough problem because sometimes you need just to sit together with your teammates and start working on something what they cannot figure out. This can be some legacy code, some production bugs which are difficult to reproduce, or probably there is some architecture problem which you need to bypass within the current solution. And again, there may be some issues, for example, with the stakeholders as well, when they do not feel when there is some tough discussions with them about business objectives, about the strategy, or about the vision of the product. And you as a leader acting here should develop this kind of trust with the stakeholders and align with them on what they really want and what kind of trade-offs they are really are eager to take. And while doing the dirty work, don't think that it's in vain, because people will really see this. They will understand that you not just a person who manages, you're a person who helps them to deliver something when they feel puzzled, confused, or frustrated. And a demonstration of commitment. So while working with teammates on the same problems, you show that you are a part of the team, that you are helping the team, and you are ready to take any challenges just to uh, help the team progress towards needed goals and objectives. As a leader, you also should be able, or you should be capable, to break down complexity. So here I'm talking more about task decomposition. So you should have this helicopter view and the ground view. So you should understand, or you should be able to zoom in or zoom out some functionality just to uh, help the team to break into smaller pieces. It's really needed for progress visibility, first of all, because if you will be working on something for 3 sprints without as a whole, as one item, it will be quite difficult to understand whether there is any progress. But when your epic is split into dozens of different small user stories, you can quickly measure how it is progressing and see it. It also helps with dependency identification. So it helps to identify how one work item depends on another, where what should be completed first, what can be postponed, and it also helps you to clearly communicate ideas to business stakeholders and to your development team through usage of different artifacts. You can use different diagrams just or to show how the team, how the product is built, what components it has, and it will be easier to communicate the changes that you introduced as well. The same about explaining complex things. First of all, you need to consider the audience which you are talking to. And different people, they have different level of experience, a different level of knowledge, technical proficiency, and you as a leader should consider this. Um, it's very good to use different metaphors and analogies when you're explaining some things. It's not a secret that when we're using LLMs, we try to challenge them, explain this complex topic to me like I'm a 6-year-old child. So you as a leader should also consider it, that if you're dealing with business stakeholders, they do not want to listen anything about technical complexities. They want to understand how much money you will earn. And in this case, there is not much sense to bring the technical topics to them, and vice versa with engineering teams. They are focused more on engineering solutions rather than understanding how some business metrics will behave. And again, don't forget to check for understanding. There are different techniques to check that your opponent understands what you said. Don't forget to use clarifying questions. Check whether your picture or image coincides with a picture or image of another person who's discussing this. And don't forget to structure your explanations. Explain why you're developing something, and describe how you're developing, and then you can provide those necessary details explaining the further solution. Another thing, like a leader, you need to be very proficient in planning. So thinking ahead, it's one of the qualities that you need to have. You should be able to spot any blockers, impediments that may happen while developing. You also should consider different dependencies, especially dependencies with other teams who are working on the adjacent component within the system. And don't forget to leave some buffer for unknowns, which constantly happen during the development. So the entire team will not be frustrated when you miss deadlines. This buffer will help you just to locate some sort of work for unknowns. And probably the last point here, so as a leader, you should use data-driven decision making. Why it is important? Because when you use your intuition over evidence, it's quite difficult to understand that there is really impact on what you are doing. When you're using metrics, when you're using user research or A/B test results, you can show that what you're delivering really has this impact on the product. Also, don't forget about trade-offs. Anyway, people are making them on a regular basis, and your team should understand why you're making this or that trade-off, what options you have, why you accept one option and you reject another. And you also should consider some hidden costs, which may not be really visible at once, but the team should research. Also, while making decisions, don't forget that there are two types of decisions: reversible and irreversible. If we're talking about reversible, so in this case, your decision making can be faster. And when we're talking about irreversible, so in this case, it's better to take a pause and review the situation from different angles, just to better understand which of the decisions will be more optimal. About decision deadlines, again, some teams and some companies, they experience these problems with decision making. So especially when they encounter some tough situation, when the decision is quite contradictory. So in this case, it's very good to have some deadline before the decision is made. And once the deadline is reached, you commit that the decision is made and we agree on this decision. Because in great number of situations, indecision is the most expensive option of all. Don't forget that fail-fast approach is still working. Also, while working with decisions, don't forget to document them. You can get back to them over time and just to reflect on these decisions and outcomes that you received after implementing this or that decision. And it will also help you to have this knowledge base of your failures, just for better progression as a team in the future and for better decision making for a product. And don't forget about meaningful metrics. So if you're developing some vanity metrics, so you as a leader, you should be focused on the actionable data, something where you earn money, something where you are improving experience at least. And this value should correlate with business goals, of course, and with the user value. So if we're talking about the development of informal leadership qualities, so we can use five-step process. So what you need to do? Don't find two or three qualities where you already excel and continue investing into deepening and improving this as much as possible. Then try to identify two more areas for improvement and work on them intentionally, trying to spot all the weaknesses and problems that you have. You can seek feedback from your colleagues. So based on this feedback, you can further, it can help you to progress, first of all, and it can help you to resolve some challenges and to find different ways how to resolve these challenges. Also, while working within a large company, you may find additional leaders from other departments, and you can adopt their techniques, their approaches to work, and their behavior just to act like a leader. And don't forget that you need to practice on a daily basis, but not seldom or just from time to time, because without regular practice, it's quite difficult to become a product leader. And in general, the team will not even notice this, that you're trying to become a team leader, but nothing really happened. So Now we have the Q&A session. If you have any questions, let's just review them. And while I'm checking your questions, you have a bit of time to share your feedback for this meetup, and I will try to check comments. Okay, one of the questions is how to avoid micromanagement when trying to improve time efficiency in a team. Okay, micromanagement is a common problem, but in general, sometimes it may be needed. So, especially at the forming and storming phase of the team, when the team is just trying to understand how they're working all together. So, micromanagement is not a really bad thing which may happen, but you should consider that when you are coming with micromanagement to the performing team, there may be some negative impact. But when the team is forming or storming, that's okay. So you will help them. So you will be acting like a coach or guide in addressing this or that problem that they have. If we're talking, let's say, about time efficiency, difficult to say what you mean about time efficiency. Are you talking about estimation or about spending time on meetings or doing things? If possible, could you please clarify this point? So, so in this situation, if we're talking about micromanagement, use it, but don't overuse it. If the team notices that you continue these practices once the issue is resolved, there will be problems. So there will be some negative impact on your leadership skills in general over time. So it can be used like a temporary measure just to resolve the ongoing problems. But after all, it's very good to have some sort of retrospective just to discuss with team what you expect from them and why these expectations are not met. So probably something like this. So wrapping up everything what was said, so leadership isn't a job title, it's the courage to care, speak, and act where you stand. So now it's time for you to go further. So don't wait and try to practice leadership skills. Thanks everyone for joining. See you next time and have a nice day. See you. Bye-bye.